Today is Pump Your Career, the event for female scientists. I'm Eveline van Rijswijk and I'm going to ask questions on how we can improve the position of women in science. You just gave a short keynote. What I found really interesting was your remark that we should get from intentions to impact.
But I think that a lot of people have good intentions, but they stick with the intentions and ignore the impact. What is your impact? And it's about, how you carry a responsibility within a system that privileges you. How can you use that to make it inclusive for all of us?
Now let's get to the hard numbers. I am very excited to present to you the fact that as of 2018 we have more than 20% of female professors. 20.9% female professors in the Netherlands. And that is really a milestone.
Daniel Wegboldes, president of the Radboud University. Congratulations, you're number 2 in the Monitor Women Professors.
Thank you, but there's still a long way to go.
We need to have revolutionary actions by women, but also by the boards of universities to really be more inclusive.
It's clear that there are barriers that are preventing us from having more female professors. I think we should have a better picture of what these barriers are so that we can get rid of those to get a much steeper increase.
From universities that are they say they are very inclusive, so women come in. We expect women to be the best, much better than men, otherwise they don't come there. But when they are there, we don't treat them as people who are qualified to be there. So we have to do something with the culture of our universities and the way that bias actually very much ingrained, and talk about it.
What can you do in your role as a chairman of the Association of Universities?
If I can give you one example, which was not mentioned today, but which I think is very important, is the new project that we will embark on in terms of rewards and recognition to make it more balanced, not just research focused, but also education, impact, leadership, teamwork focused. And I think that will also make a great contribution.
Well, how do we reach true inclusion?
So even to write a report where we are honest to say, okay, this is the numbers of women and this is the numbers of women of color, to include that would have meant a lot.
So the next Monitor 2019 should definitely include this?
I hope so.
So what can universities learn from maybe companies with regards to female career paths?
I think that the corporate companies, the large enterprises, do have strict targets on how many female leaders should be in certain positions and in board positions.
So the whole conversation is about how do we get more women into academic careers and how do we get more women in leadership positions. And the way we've been doing it and advocating for it is not really making a huge difference. Yeah. And as a scientist myself, I think maybe we're asking the wrong question. So we're always using the measure of males and we're measuring against them. Maybe we should change the whole measure.
So another challenge is when you have a family to go abroad and to get international experience, because for many grants this is something that gives you a plus, it gives you more chance at obtaining a grant. I got a grant from the Distinguished Women Scientists Fund. This particular grant made it possible for me to go abroad for 1 month, which was doable family-wise, and still get this international experience and work with a fabulous research group there. It was really amazing. So that was great for me to do that.
Marijke Nezer, you'll be giving an inspiration session on scientific harassment. Could you give an example of scientific harassment?
Yeah, we have heard now the stories of over 50 women and they were quite shocking. Of course, we all know about sexual intimidation, verbal harassment like shouting at people, physically threatening people, stealing data, plagiarism, prohibiting people from accessing data or specific spaces like their office.
So Bella Derks, you researched what is the stereotype of academics. What are your preliminary findings?
Well, we did a study on a large group of academics in the Netherlands, and we find that people in the Netherlands have the idea that they need to be very masculine, so very competitive, very self-confident in order to be successful in academia. But then when you ask people, what are you like? Then men and women say, well, I'm actually much more communal.
How do we change this stereotype?
Well, we also see that how people in academia actually are is much more focused on team science, collaboration. That's what people like to do. And that's a stereotype that fits women much better. So if we broaden the stereotype of what it means to be a successful academic so that it includes agency, masculinity, but also femininity, it will appeal to many more people, men and women, and we can reach more inclusion.
So, in order to get from intentions to impact, women should be in charge of their own career paths. We should also change the stereotypes on what a good scientist is. And maybe we shouldn't ask women to adapt to a system, but change the system so that we no longer waste the talents of female scientists.